Good morning, this foggy Thursday in the Midwest. Good morning, everyone. I see already bright and early Dawn and Trisha and Greg. It is, yes, no. Oh, you said hi to Vic. Goodbye. He's in here.
Yeah, I'm in.
Vic is in here.
Trying to work things out.
He is in here. Just, as we do on the show before the show, just getting all of the systems up, making sure that they're fine, making sure that we have sound.
We're still waiting on see what's happening with Kehoe.
Yes.
We'll see.
Well,
He can join us by phone because it's some emergency meeting. He'd love to join us by phone.
Right.
So we could still do that at 8.
We'll see what happens.
But he doesn't get out till 9:30. I said I'd like him on video.
Yeah. Yeah, we can always do phone calls, but we do like
stuff
seeing people either in
happens.
person or on video. I have not heard that ringtone in like forever. I used to have that ringtone a long time ago.
I butt dialed somebody, and then of course it called me back. They're good people.
You butt dialed somebody? The first person I ever butt dialed ever was my pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even, that was years ago, and that was the weirdest thing ever.
What do we got here? How in the hell is Pennsylvania so liberal, unless it's a lie, that Donald Trump could actually be trailing Joe Biden in that state?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Yes,
I know Philadelphia is just a trashy city.
It is. It is.
I'm sorry, people I'm not trying to be mean. I've been through it. I've had 2 people recently tell me, and we see what's going on with who they elect there. But damn.
But and you said
really?
Philadelphia, but Pittsburgh, I've been there a couple times. And, there's definitely some liberals there, but it seems like just a hardcore Donald Trump, America first, not necessarily Republicans, because they used to all be a bunch of Democrats there. But times have changed. I think it's all a lie, but I'm still the same person that literally thinks that Donald Trump could have won every state last time too, and they stole it from him. Megan, for any of you guys that care about this, she is in Jeff City today. Megan, who was with me day before yesterday, who she fills in when Vic isn't here or when I'm not here. And she's in Jeff City right now and working on trying to work on sex trafficking bills and that sort of thing. And she just ran into my son-in-law.
Very cool.
She said he's a sweetheart. I said, he really is. a wonderful person.
Yeah, but I really know him.
So you know the real him, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know the real him. Megan goes, will he mind if I go by and say hi? I go, no, that's what they're all there for. You're supposed to go by and say hi. And Bindi says she loves Megan.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to do my Kehoe tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
Okay, good. Perfect.
I appreciate them.
Perfect. I love that. Well, and right now with him going yesterday and being with, what was he in New Hampshire yesterday with the Trump group, right? That was yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second here.
Okay.
Yep. Where are we at here? 7:57. Yeah, we got on a little early. That's good.
Yeah,
show before the show. Make sure everything's going well. Yeah, we won't have the music this morning. We've got Joe at home again, making it easier.
Yes.
It's so cool.
It is so cool. Well, and it's great that, what's that, 3 days in a row?
Well, he lives in East Bethlehem.
He does live.
And when you take a camel from East Bethlehem all the way to the Chesterfield Valley, it takes like 2 hours. Literally. I think Joe should be working in Columbia, Missouri, not the St. Louis area. He's so far out.
Well, and the way you have to go, because
maybe he lives in East Nazareth.
That's right. We keep saying Bethlehem. I thought it was East Egypt, but
in the land of Canaan.
Land of Canaan. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, in the summer, there's no problem him getting here. But when there's fog or weird sun glare or snow or ice, whatever, it backs up and it takes him 2 hours to get here.
It's like, what?
But a lot of producers are not in the same area. They're either in a different building or whatever. So I love when Joe's here, but it's on day like foggy. The fog was so dense, you couldn't hardly see in front of you.
All right, guys, welcome to the show before the show. Getting ready to get started here, making sure everything looks as good as it can. Oh my God, was that what Joe?
That was okay. So I'm glad Joe showed that picture. That was his picture. Yesterday? And he and I were talking, and I was like, "Just turn around. Just turn around. We've learned on the snow day you can do it from home. Just turn around and go do it from home." He might again be doing it from his bed.
Why not?
Really? Have your jammy pants on.
Yeah. So thanks, guys, jumping in.
That was great, too.
Yeah, Glenn says Bongino does it from his home. I knew that too.
Yeah, he does. He does. A lot of people do it from Tucker was for a while doing it from his home.
Well, when we first started the show, people were like, Vic, you could just do it from your home. And I'm like, well, yeah, but the whole studio aspect too was what we do. We rent this place out too. And there's a bigger vision and dream and lots of shows and network. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It takes money to come in to do all those things. But if you build it, they will come, right?
Yes. You build it, they will come.
So
now they might come and do something you don't want them to do, though.
No. If you build it, they will come.
That is true. That is very true.
Bendy says, my daughter-in-law got caught in the hotel hostage traffic yesterday. That was downtown St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, kids were not hurt.
And the lady ended up not being hurt.
And she wasn't hurt either.
No. The kid is the one that called the police out of the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. Bendy, real quick, and we'll say it in just a second. Bendy said, can't wait to hear Mike Kehoe. Mike's going to join us tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. He got back 2 nights ago, very, very late from the Trump campaign. So he was traveling with the Trump campaign in New Hampshire, got back late. And then apparently Jeff City it's
a nightmare right now. It's a shit show down there.
I guess you would know.
Yes, I do know. It's a shit show. I'm like, literally, I was told that if you want to watch a comedy show, just, put your boots on and go on there. And he said it's a shit show on every level.
What ethnicity are you?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Every time I see your son-in-law.
He identifies as an American. Yes. Well, there's a lot of people in Jeff City. And I think, the interesting thing is I think most people down there really love America. They just have a different way of getting to how they want to do things in Missouri. And then
you get the bubble. It's a bubble that goes on you. It happens.
It is a bubble.
When I lived in Columbia, Missouri, when I went to Mizzou, and then I lived there as well. after school, got married, lived in that bubble. It's such a bubble in Columbia and Jeff City. And it's difficult to explain, but it's like, it's not like the rest of the world.
Right.
It just isn't. And that can be a very positive thing, and it can be some negative things.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved living in Columbia, but I felt like I was shielded from everything else in the world.
Correct.
It was just weird.
Yeah.
It was like a, I don't know. It was just different.
A bubble. Yeah. A lot of people, if they go to Jeff City and they just live the Jeff City or wherever it is life, and then they don't come back to their constituents and find out what's really going on in the real world, they get all caught up down there in their personalities. And this one hurt my feelings. It's like a
Wait a minute. Hey, Hey, Joe, let me know before we get started here. Is my camera right, or do I need to go adjust that?
You need to go adjust it because your head's
it doesn't look right. But
it looks like you have no hair. It looks like you're bald.
Look at me. That's what I would look like if I was bald.
You look like you're bald.
Good thing I had that hair transplant. Because I'd probably be bald by now.
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody could have good hair today. I really worked on my hair today, and now it's all frizz ball from the weather outside, so it really doesn't matter. Yeah.
Victor, camera needs to be adjusted.
At his desk.
At your desk.
He's going to go do his desk.
That's the first time he's ever said Victor.
Victor.
Hey, Victor.
But you know why he calls you Victor? It does that when he talks to Tex. So, yeah. So if any of you guys are in the St. Louis metropolitan area today, don't worry about your hair because it's so foggy and moist out there that you can spend an hour on your hair and still look like the frizz ball. Now, you might be somewhere else. We have a lot of people that listen other places. You might be in Florida with glorious weather. You might be in Detroit where I think Detroit's a little foggy too, but it's all right. So we're going to start here. This is still the show before the show. And so Vic is going to adjust his head because his head looked like he was cut off. Yeah, Vic, you're doing it right. It's just, okay, the other way. Yeah. So he's talking to Projo, who is doing the show from, there you go, Vic. There you go. He's doing the show from his home. And we know a lot of podcasters and shows, a lot of producers are not necessarily in their house, but Joe is almost here every day. But we've learned because we've had that snow day, and then he lives, and we were laughing earlier. So if you didn't hear it when we first came on, Joe lives in East Nazareth, like not around here. So whenever and Joe popped up a picture, whenever there's a tractor trailer that like dumps over or there's bad weather or fog, even it backs up for miles where he lives. Miles. I think your head will look fine now, Vic.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine. This is still the show before the show. Yeah, so you got hair now.
Speaking of hair, no, I've had people. I had a guy recently say, "Hey, and he was pointing to my hair. Like he's a friend, but we don't hang out a ton, so he didn't know. He's like, I just, he's like, he started like pointing to my hair or his hair, like
because you got that new hairstyle going.
No, well, no, I'm getting cut again. I'm going to get cut. I'm going short again.
Okay.
I was really long, and then not that people give a damn about my damn hair, but
I don't know. I was talking about my hair too.
He said, and he's like, "Is that real?"
Yeah, his hair's real.
That's not the first. I'm like,
because it's so thick and luscious.
I said when we were in the Edge, I ran into somebody from Hans Wyman.
Oh,
and I was like, I'm starting to go bald in the crown of my head. I was like, we'll do it. We'll show before and after pictures. We did it. It worked. Now the process the day that I did it was a nightmare. It sucks.
Did it hurt?
The only thing that sucks about hair transplant stuff is when you get the numbers. When they numb.
Numbers?
That's what I call them, the numbers.
Numbers, okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, when you get numbed.
So they gave me the numbing shots in the scalp. That kind of
hurt.
Yeah, it kind of did. But after that, no, it didn't. And it didn't hurt after.
There you go. That's always good to know. I always wondered if Hans wanted.
But the whole idea was you do that and then I think like 4 different people went in and got it.
Yeah. And then
so it worked out.
Grows back,
so their trade worked well.
That's awesome.
Worked very well. No, it did. And they did a couple spots in the front, and it did. And it worked. I'm not a young guy. Yeah. And I still have hair.
Yeah. Looks great. You'd never know.
Gray, but
you'd never know. And David's saying we need to have Hans Wyman sponsor the show before the show. They could.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah. We need to call Hans. Is Han still alive?
I don't know, but it's interesting with technology, just like, people can do these things.
Yeah.
You used to have to travel to destinations unknown
to get that stuff done.
Procedures of any kind done. Now it's in your backyard because people are so up to date on things. Can you make a montage clip of Biden doing his lean down to the mic whispers?
You should just do it, Vic, because Vic, you do that good. How you do that like that.
Anyway. All right. Let's go ahead. All right. Since we don't have music and we're doing that, we'll just do our little deal. Vic, did it ever wear off the numbers, or is it numbers? No, it didn't. Even after about 14 hours, it was like a 14-hour day.
Oh, wow. So your head still felt numb for 14 hours?
No, meaning, meaning there was no pain.
Okay.
The whole process was interesting. I remember explaining it. Anyway, it worked. So people thought my hair was fake.
They thought your hair was fake. No, your hair isn't fake.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah, no. No, but I'm going to get it cut short here soon.
You are. When I first met you, your hair was like real short.
But Donald, people might have remembered Donald coming in the studio.
Donald. We need to have him on.
He's pissed. He's like, no cut hair.
No cut hair.
He said, no cut hair. He's like, no, you bad. He's like, better body, face.
Okay.
Long hair. And I'm like, I don't know. Donald.
So is Donald going to be the one to cut it?
He's
your guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
when you
there was one time he said, if you go back short, I no cut.
So is he going to do it?
I don't know. I'm going to let him know.
I no cut. I no cut your hair.
You look good. That's my Donald. He come in here.
We need to have Donald back in.
Megan,
he was very good.
Megan hates the long hair.
Most women do. Well, I shouldn't say that. They either really like long hair.
You know who liked it? Like younger people. Like, oh, yeah, I like it longer.
Because it looks hip.
But mine just grows like a chia pet.
Like a chia pet.
It does. It's the white afro. And it'll just grow. I have to like do all kinds of stuff. Greg says, can you grow facial hair? Yeah, I can. I don't really have a lot of it. I mean, I don't try. I don't like it. But I can grow it. I've become a man where I can grow it. There was a long time I didn't know if I could do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was man enough.
Man enough to have a beard.
Kimberly says, from a stylist, I agree with Donald. Stay on the longer side.
I would like to go
I
to
think
Kimberly,
it's all stylist with men. Okay, Kimberly, they get tired of cutting short hair and they like to have hair to like, to vavoom.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm going back short.
So then we're going to do segments of Vic's hair.
Yeah.
Vic hair.
So many people care as we get ready to Hey, by the way, okay, we'll just go ahead and start. We'll continue. Okay. Because I like to do it like we're on TV, like 3, 2,
1. Oh, I forget. I keep saying
Lizzie, don't do the one.
Okay, let's do it again. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome into cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks. Pro Joe, taking care of everything. Producer, engineer extraordinaire, of course, making sure we look and sound as good as we possibly can. Welcome into January 25th's podcast. It is a Thursday. Friday Eve, of course, ready to rock and roll. We are packed today. We were going to start with Mike Kehoe today, Lieutenant Governor for Missouri. He's going to join us tomorrow at 8 a.m. He was super, super slammed because he was on the campaign trail with Donald Trump in New Hampshire, got back late 2 nights ago, and then was absolutely slammed with a meeting. A lot of stuff going on in Jefferson City today. So we'll have Mike tomorrow for a free-for-all Friday, and then just kind of get to know a little bit more about who Mike Kehoe is, how he would be different than what we see right now, what he thinks about other governors doing whatever they're doing around the state, what it was like to hang out with Donald Trump, of course, especially in this time of the year when it's in campaign season, and see what his first job would be or what he would do as governor of the state of Missouri. He's a St. Louis guy, graduated from Chaminade, and a lot of people are trying to find out who he is and what he would be like. Of course, running with or against Mr. Ashcroft and Mr. Eigel. So we've got so much to get into today. I mean, lots of things going on. And if you have something that changes or something that's going on, let us know if there's something that we're not getting to. We started talking about the hair thing. Yes, people are going into it right now. Fine. If you want to let me know throughout the day, shorter hair, short on the side, spiky on the top, again, like I used to have, or just kind of all messy on top, or do we go longer.
Well, if you put your hair spiky and you make your glasses a little bit more round, you can look like Caleb Rowden.
Okay. Caleb Rowden, for those who don't know, Columbia, Missouri state senator who is in charge of leadership in Jefferson City. So morning to everybody. Thanks again. Check out canceltheshow.com. You can go to our website, check out all of our links. We've got our website there. We've got all of the information, all the shows that we have had. Of course, we've got our merchandise section as well. You can check that out. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website. Canceltheshow.com. News headlines, politics, cancel culture education, interviews, you name it, we do it. The InfoCast, we appreciate you guys jumping in and making the interaction second to none. You guys make the show. So if there's something going on, let us know. Get your stuff in. Of course, Anthony says, good morning, heathens. That is his morning. That's his morning wake-up call to everybody. So thanks for everybody jumping in today. Okay. We have to start with some of the Donald Trump stuff that's going on this morning. Did we have to give any other messages before we start any housekeeping news?
No, I think we have no messages today.
Yeah, we got Mike
Kehoe.
Yeah, we got
and
Mike.
What we're doing tomorrow.
Mike Kehoe, Eric Back, Kelly Mano. We didn't have Kelly last week, right?
Right.
Yeah, so Kelly's back tomorrow. I did text her. I just hadn't heard back yet. She's probably at a hockey rink somewhere doing whatever she can right now.
Yes.
But last night, Donald Trump is making headlines. Making headlines. And by the way, before we get into that, Reid Hoffman, president, CEO, LinkedIn, billionaire, who was promoting Nikki Haley big time, liberal Democrat, has paused his funding for Nikki Haley. If you didn't see that yet. Okay, so that sends a big message. It's like, Nikki, come on, let's stop. And then a top Republican donor has advised her, Nikki, it's time to stop. As he said, he gave advice from the late country singer Kenny Rogers, know when to walk away, know when to run. Literally, he said this. Andy Sabin, the chairman of the board of Sabin Metals, did an interview last night and said it's time for Haley to walk away. It's one of those pride factors that people have when you invest so much in life. Trust me, I've been there.
Yeah.
Going through those things. You put everything in it, and the more you put in, the harder it is to stop.
Correct.
The harder it is to walk away. And the more that you give of yourself. And there is no path for Nikki Haley.
No.
The only path, and this is where it gets kind of controversial, conspiratorial, is if Donald Trump is not breathing.
Correct. Yeah.
Because if Donald Trump is breathing, he's running for president.
Absolutely. Even if he's, quote, in jail, which I don't think is going to happen, he'll still get elected out of jail.
Of course. It would be an even larger amount.
The only other controversial thing that people are saying is that she knows she has no path. So in addition to maybe she can be the president if he was unalived, or she's vying for the VP.
Yeah. So she's not going to get that position anymore.
I hope not.
No,
no longer. Hope not.
And I was watching a little Laura Ingraham last night, and she brought up a great point. She's like, the longer Nikki Haley keeps this going and takes shots at Donald Trump, the more she ruins herself for future endeavors.
Absolutely.
Whatever they may be. Trump a position, a campaign position. I mean, in the future, she's already getting destroyed in her own home state, and she's making it worse for herself right now because every politician in the state of South Carolina that is of any noteworthiness is backing and endorsing Donald Trump. It's just a fact. It's what's happening right now. Nikki might be counting, on the primary states where the Democrats vote for her. According to Robert, that's a great point. She was promoting the fact that 70% of her votes in New Hampshire, literally, it's like
she's bragging about it.
Yeah.
She's saying 70%.
So you've got that stuff. Oh, also, Nikki's getting the you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here treatment. Love it. What a great point.
That is great.
Even Yogi knew when to exit stage right. Ha, 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 ha. Funny. I like that as well. This is canceltheshow.com. Please like, subscribe, share the show, all of our platforms. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks here. Pro Joe, of course, taking care of things from a video standpoint and an audio standpoint. Anthony says Missouri should offer Texas Missouri National Guard troops if they need additional help at the border. That's something we're going to get into today as well. I just wanted to hit that Nikki Haley situation because she's out campaigning. She's going to get beat by double digits in her own home state. It could be as high as 20 to 30 points, but yet she'll still say she's going to stay in because I think she's gotten this whole, I don't know, because if Reid Hoffman's taking his money away, that's a big deal. It really is. So who else is now supporting her? Is it somebody we don't know about? Hell, is she taking money from the Soros camp now? Anything's possible, right? Anything is possible.
Yes.
So David says, will we see Tulsi? No, Nikki ticket. No, that ticket. No, we won't see that. And here's why. Because Tulsi Gabbard 2 days ago ripped Nikki Haley.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So Tulsi.
I was kind of surprised that she did that. But
and we all know, and if women start going after each other, they're not going to kiss and make up, right?
No, that's typically
not in politics.
Sometimes men can, but most of the time women can't. And I'm not saying that me in particular, but a lot of times once a woman is mad, even if they know they're wrong, they won't admit it and they won't move on because our feelings get too hurt.
What if they physically fight?
Then they're probably fine after that.
Okay,
if you've not watched Yellowstone, if you literally get in a knockdown, drag out fight with somebody in your family or someone else and you punch and you get all bloody, then we're fine.
Yeah, it might be. Well, Donald Trump is continuing to expand his lead everywhere. Literally, the MSNBC they're becoming The View. And I don't watch either one of the shows, but I see clips and I do watch the clips.
Yeah.
They literally aren't even talking about policy anymore. They had a woman on yesterday talking about the color of his skin. He's orange. What kind of tanner is he using now? I think he's back to using tanner. Literally, that's what they have been relegated to. So if you're a Democrat, I'm sorry. This is what's happening to your party. This is what you're following. Now you're grasping at straws because of what tanner or makeup is on Donald Trump's face. Sad. Really sad.
Yeah, who cares?
Once again, Democrats have been destroyed on policy for decades, literally a few generations. And now what they want to do, they want to turn everything and try to make it social. Glenn says, yep, Beth beats those libtards ass.
Yeah, she
ASS.
does.
And Chris says, sad thing, even though Fox Network is playing the Nikki getting the independent vote, they're trying to keep it going because they need ratings. Even Steve Ducey said it yesterday in his morning show. He's like, don't turn off your TVs, keep watching us. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy has got to get off air. How he ever got a job, I don't know.
I don't know. He loves her.
Maybe I understood how he got his job, but how he has kept his job, I have no. But if you ever do watch Fox and Friends, look at Brian Kilmeade sometimes. He'll just look at him like, you are the douchiest dude ever.
Yeah, like you're a dumbass.
No, if looks could tell the full story.
Yeah.
And now he's a New Yorker and he looks over and he's like, who is this country bumpkin from Iowa who's acting like a clown, saying the most stupid things with no fact?
Right. Right. I love to look at his expression on his face.
And then I got Ainsley and I said, okay, y'all, I love you. Jesus loves you, y'all. Let's all get along.
That is a very good little group there, commentary.
Anyway, Donald Trump, back to Donald. Hi, y'all. Yeah. No, Ainsley's nice. I met her.
I like her a lot.
I met her like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I was covering the Pistons. They were playing in the NBA championship down in San Antonio. She was working in San Antonio at the time, and we were out with them and a friend of mine who was our sports director. But she's very sweet and nice.
She's sweet, and she's the only one making sense because sometimes
that is legitimate.
Brian has to talk through his teeth because he didn't like Trump for so long.
Glenn says Ainsley's an airhead. I've heard that before, but I'm not going to talk about it whether she's an airhead or not. But when she talks like y'all and, it's just so nice, that's legitimate because the first time I met her, I was like, what the hell?
And sometimes people think when you talk like
I said, where are you from? She's like,
not quite as smart.
Originally from South Carolina.
Yeah. And just because you talk like this doesn't mean you're not as smart as somebody who talks.
But it comes across kind of DUM.
It does. Yeah. It does. It does come across, even though that doesn't mean it is. But that's why a lot of Southerners try to start more mainstream in their speech.
David says, Ainsley's a Liberty grad.
She is. And so we can't say anything bad about her.
I didn't. I didn't.
I know. Well, other people
Everybody else are saying that she's an airhead.
And she may be. We don't know her personally, but we just know people who literally, so is Shannon Bream.
Well, Chris wanted me to mention, too, that Brian Kilmeade is a never Trumper as well. He may be, but I'm telling you, he's changed. He is not on this Nikki Haley ticket. He's not. He's not. And, of course, Glenn says, as we've turned into the dating politics game here on Cancel This, dating Hannity blew my mind. And she's very open about it on her show, which is
But I've got a question about that, if you can ever get him on, because he moved to
Florida. If I could ever get who on?
Ainsley on, because I want to ask
her
on. I want to ask her a question because she is infatuated with Hannity and they are dating and she's like that. But here it is.
She may be infatuated with his bank account.
Well, that could be. And maybe his new house in Florida because she still lives in New York.
Okay.
And he lives in Florida. So they have a long distance dating in case anybody cares.
All right. I love it. Hey, Donald Trump's kicking ass. No surprise there. Last night, very presidential again, as we say, he's the leader. There's nobody in this country in politics who's as much of a leader as he is. And when he speaks, people listen. The first of which last night, he went after the cartels. Some people are like, ooh, Donald Trump. He went after the cartels last night and he said what he would do. And here's the difference between Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, Joe Biden, anybody else, this Dean Phillips character who's jumped onto the scene, is he doesn't just say, we need to do this and we're going to do that. He's like, here's the exact plan. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to take. Here's problem. I'm Donald. Here's how Donald's going to take care of the problem. And you see A to B. Here's Donald Trump talking about, I mean, literally, he's drawn a line in that sand with the cartels.
The drug cartels are waging war in America, and it's now time for America to wage war on the cartels. When I am president, it will be the policy of the United States to take down the cartels. I will deploy all necessary military assets, including the U.S. Navy, to impose the full naval embargo on the cartels. Furthermore, I will order the Department of Defense to make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt and covert actions to inflict maximum damage on cartel leadership, infrastructure, and operations. Either we will get the full cooperation of other governments to stop this menace, or we will expose every bribe, every kickback, every payoff, and every bit of corruption that is allowing the cartels to preserve their brutal reign, and it is indeed brutal. Finally, as I have said before, I will ask Congress to pass legislation ensuring that drug smugglers and human traffickers receive the death penalty. When I'm back in the White House, the drug kingpins and vicious traffickers will never sleep soundly again. We have to take over. We have to be tough. We have to be smart. We have to be fair. But if we don't do something immediately, our country is gone.
End of story. Donald Trump. And if that doesn't separate him from other candidates, I don't know what does. I don't even want to bring up other candidates because now I think it's about Donald and who the enemies are, who the people are that are trying to tear the fabric of this country down right now. And unfortunately, it does start with the cartels. And Glenn Thompson says the cartels were mentioned in the Kerry Lake bribery tape that we played for you yesterday.
Correct.
Literally, we had somebody jump on our line earlier this morning. Somebody better get Kerry Lake the best protection possible.
100%.
After she outed the Republican leader of the GOP in Arizona. And by the way, that guy resigned yesterday. No surprise there.
No shocker.
So hopefully his health is all right and going to be all right. But literally talking about cartels, Donald Trump on the eve of that tape right there. I mean, literally that evening talking directly to the cartels. That's what a leader does. A leader does not run and hide. A leader is not compromised, because if you're compromised, you can't lead, Joe Biden, because of you and your son and all of the nefarious activity over generations. Now you have Donald Trump saying, this is what I'm going to do to the cartels. That's powerful. I mean, that's powerful. I mean, he's literally going, yeah, free rides over people when I'm back in the White House. And you wonder, of course, you may not wonder, but there's some wonder why so much is thrown at Donald Trump. So much. Anthony says Trump has really polished up his presence in speaking.
I agree.
There is no doubt. But then once again, yesterday morning, and I know this, there are people who still see Donald Trump from 10 years ago. While I listened to a woman yesterday morning on a news show say, well, I love his policies, but he needs to tone it down. How can he tone it down anymore, especially where we are in 2024? There is no way to turn it down anymore.
No way.
He's already toned it down, and it's measured. As we said, his whole situation is measured. And Trump also knows how to talk to Mexico as well.
Correct.
He gives those messages out.
Right. And I like that he's toned it down. And we've talked about this before too, not because of me or not because of you. I don't care that he talks like that. I like it. And I think it needs to be a powerful message. But there's some people that are Republican or conservative that they want him presidential or they don't know who to vote for. So I'm glad that he's measured. I'm glad that he's kind of seems more presidential, but he's still got to be bold. I mean, this is not the time to be sissy pants.
Yeah. Shay says, how are we going to ever have enough military to deport illegals? That's what I said when he talked about deporting them. I don't know.
I don't know. That's
I don't know,
question.
Shay. I said that it would be impossible to get as much as you can, but you got to start. The first thing is you got to secure the border. Once again, the analogy I gave was the leaking pipe. The pipe's going to continue to leak inside the wall until you take care of the pipe. Once you take care of the pipe, then you can clean up everything else around it in time.
Correct. And I agree. And what they're going to have to do is the first thing that I think that Donald Trump is going to do, according to his own words, is after securing the border, anyone in here that they can track down that is a criminal, that's the first people that they're going to deport. And I do believe that he will deport them the way they came in here on buses and just bust them all out.
Well, we've said it, and we've talked about it, and we'll continue to talk about it. We feel it's the most important issue in this country right now. Heck, New Hampshire voters, that was Republicans who voted, said it was the number one issue all the way up in New Hampshire. Said it's the number one issue for them. Republicans, the border. Think about that and where New Hampshire is located to show you the mess that has been created because of the border. And we do have a lot of border stuff to talk about today. But it's also about Donald Trump and why there is a fight for this country. Some of us know it. Some of us don't. Much of America's too comfortable to dive into it. We dive into it, which is why we love it when you guys come in and dive into it with us and help educate us and entertain us. And of course, liking, subscribing, sharing the shows, getting that information out, including us in the groups that you're a part of as well, is the fact that Donald Trump will continue to fight this. And guess what? As long as he's in the public eye, if he's running for office, the crap's going to happen. If he wins the presidency, guess what? It's going to continue, and they're going to continue to come after him. I would almost think that if somehow, some way, there is an election, there's a fair election, Donald Trump's there, he wins, it'll be worse in this presidency than it was before. But Trump now sees the adversary. He sees the competition. He knows their game plan. He knows their strategic playbook. He knows their plays. He knows what they're trying to do. He cannot be surprised by anything. So if he is in that office, he knows there is a deep state, as he has continued to talk about. And you are not conspiratorial if you say there is a deep state. I'm sorry. There is a deep state. And the deep state is Republicans and Democrats and people who don't have Americans' best interest at heart.
Correct.
And Donald Trump also addressed the deep state.
Mm-hmm.
Call them by name. Call them out. Divide the teams up. Shine the light on the cockroaches. Here's what he had to say about the deep state as well.
My plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all, and corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, We will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. And there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. Doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much.
Wow, that is powerful. Breaking
really
down
is.
every situation. When is the last time you saw a leader talk to the people and
Right.
talk like that?
Mhm.
Breaking down every situation. There's a plan as if he's already the president. I love it. We had a great intern here over the summer. His name was Chase. And Chase is one of the smartest, most aggressive, in a great way, young people I've ever been around. He wanted a job and he wants to work at this place in St. Louis. You know what he did? He went before he had the job and he created a whole marketing plan for this company. And I'm like, young man, that is exactly how you do it.
Yes.
Donald Trump is already laying out a plan before he has the job, what he's going to do. Here's why. We all know in America, if you have half a brain, he's the best guy. There is
Yes.
no doubt. You're going to have to deal with the pride issue for a lot of people, like people who used to be on the show, and they can't handle truth. They can't keep an open mind because they just can't get through the hate. But holy crap, was that impressive. He's literally, and you know who he's talking to? He's talking to us, but he's also talking to the deep state.
He is talking to
He's like, listen, here's another line in the sand. Come and get it.
Yeah. And
He's like, come and get it, because I know who you are. I know where the bodies are buried, and I know how to take care of this problem.
Well, and Eric on the chat line earlier said something that a lot of people don't know is that Donald Trump, he was a Democrat and he kind of dabbled with the globalization because he was a businessman and tried to see the whole picture. But then when he got entrenched and saw that there was sex trafficking and all of these bad things, it was going to harm our country. So he knows where the bodies are buried. He
Well, hell yeah.
knows.
That's why he banned Epstein
Yes.
from Mar-a-Lago.
Absolutely.
Oh, the liberal media doesn't want to talk about that. Let's talk
Uh-huh.
about his orange skin. By the way, who's ever doing his makeup, I'm sorry, that's bad.
Well, and Bindi said
He looks orange again.
well, he looks browner than Nikki, according to Bindi. So,
But it'd be all right. But here's, and from being in TV for so many years, and if you have a bright face and a red face, do your neck.
right.
Do your,
and your
ears or the
and
back of your
ears.
neck, because
Right.
all you do is you see this brown right here, brownish orange,
Yeah,
and then it's like a burnt orange Texas color on his face.
correct.
And then his neck is white. Do not let Donald Trump go on camera like that.
And that I would like to talk to his makeup artist because I don't think it's any longer a spray tan or a tanning booth. That's a makeup artist. And whoever that is, he should say, "You're fired."
Chris brings up a great point. If he doesn't defund and dismantle the 3-letter agencies, unfortunately, nothing is going to happen.
That's exactly right.
But I don't know how he would do that too. I mean, there's so much to do in a short period of time. If and when he's in the office, Paul says, yeah, the shine is horrible as well. It almost looks like he was so busy. And I've seen this, and I've had those nights where I went on air and I did my makeup at the last second, and it looked like it.
Yeah. Well,
it looked like Donald just went in and started.
Yeah. Well, and he probably is tan from being outside in Florida, and then they're trying to cover it up, and I don't know.
He does play a lot of golf. I guarantee he gets sun there too.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's the skin now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. DJT must want to look that way. You want to tell him?
No, I'm not telling.
No, I don't.
No, I'm not telling. Because really, we're just saying it because people were saying it on the chat line. That's why we're acknowledging it. We don't care if his face was purple like the Barney dinosaur because his policies are great. So we don't care what he looks like.
I just can't believe the specificity, which he said of what he's going to do, where he's taking organizations, how he's getting out of the swamp, how he's trying to. This is, if you care about our country as we do, and as most of you do, to the extent that you do, who listen to the show, who watch the show, who like, subscribe, who share, who really try to help us with ideas, who tell us about guests to get, that should excite you. But it should also show you that, holy crap, are things really, really, really bad behind the scenes. We get to hear it after. They know what's going on when you're involved. The book that Donald Trump could write right now and let everybody know. He's telling us what we need to know, and he's telling the enemy what they need to know about him and his plans. We haven't seen anything like this. Not in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime, and not in most people's lifetime. 20 years from now, people that maybe weren't even involved in politics back then are going to look back, and if they're being honest, they're going to say, we were amongst greatness like we have never seen and may not see in a long time.
I get chills listening to him, and then chills listening to you say
greatness. That. I mean, he's greatness, and no one can sustain what he's had, still come out being as great as he is. I will go on record as saying we are watching greatness that only God could ordain right before our eyes. Right before our eyes. And I can't wait to see what he does when he gets in office.
Sparta!
Yep.
What is your profession? That's what I feel like right now.
Right.
As we heard on the line today, this is one of the best analogies. Donald Trump is creating the conservative Avengers.
Yes, for sure.
Vivek is in there as well.
Right. Look at all these Avengers.
He's on the team.
That are coming.
Hell, even Ron's going to have a spot on the team.
Yes. Bring all the Avengers, even if you had fought once in the past. All of the Avengers on one team. Could you imagine that thing to look at?
Tim Scott, he had some of the Avengers on stage in New Hampshire the other night.
Yes.
Trump is the original swamp rat hunter.
Yes.
Bro, Joe is calling Ron Aquaman. I don't get that.
Well, I can see why he called him Aquaman.
Because he's from Florida? I don't know.
I'm guessing is because Aquaman isn't quite as an Avenger. So it's kind of a second-class Avenger. And I liked Aquaman, but, he was a little different and he had a weird face. Maybe it's about the smile.
Well, Vivek would definitely have to be like an Iron Man.
For sure.
With his brain and everything else.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Who would the other people be?
What was that guy?
Who? That was the 300 chant. I don't know if you ever saw 300, the movie 300.
I did, but I didn't remember that until you did that.
No, because
I didn't remember that.
No, when he goes, Sparta, what is your profession? He had his soldiers and they're like, who?
I remember that now.
Sorry. It's our good meathead movies.
Yeah, but that was good.
And it's history.
That was a good analogy. I liked it.
Yes, that is the team we have in place. And it's getting bigger and it's getting stronger. Yes, it's a guy flick. Mm-hmm. It is a guy flick.
Yes, it is. A lot of girls, all my girls watch it though. David's saying that Aquaman is DC. Maybe that's what he was meaning. And Avengers is Marvel. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. We kind of comboed them. Superheroes, those sorts of things.
But that's what it made you feel when Donald Trump was talking like that.
Hell
you feel
yes,
like you're amongst a superhero.
You're not
he
like,
is a superhero.
I'm going to show Donald Trump. Yeah, we love you.
Right? Oh my gosh. And all they have all that those people like Hillary
Oh
Clinton
my God.
calling us a basket of deplorables, and now, dumb Biden is just saying that all Republicans are MAGA extremists. That's all they have. Is this weird putting us in a basket of deplorables or extremists, whatever. That's not even the case, because there's a lot of Republicans that are not extremists.
Well, something else came up too from our chat line. And this was going back to what I was talking about earlier, if mainstream media actually reported on the information that we do on Cancel This, more Americans would care.
I agree.
More Americans would deny. But when you get programmed in such a way, even our good friend Eric is programmed that way. He's programmed. He started to wake up where
he's waking up little by little, though.
He's like, well, no, it's, the media wouldn't lie to us, No, but now he has started to see that, because when I first met Eric, he's like, now we have to trust the media. They're not going to, no, they do try to hurt you, because omission intentionally is telling a lie.
Well, that you just said something really great. Okay, so there's basically 4 our primary people on this team. We have other people on the team too. But so when you look at Joe, he will admit that he was a liberal prior to COVID. Then you see Eric, who wasn't so much that he was a liberal, he was just more of a libertarian who wanted to believe that people that were in the alphabet soup wouldn't lie to us. Now he's like, everybody's lying. He's like, what? Everybody's lying. So everybody, even on our team, are at different levels of seeing the corruption, but everybody's waking up. And it's great and then we have Megan and Derek, who are already woke up. And so it's just really interesting to watch all this.
Jay says Eric's a liberal.
Yeah, a lot of people think that Eric's a liberal, but he really isn't, guys. At one point, I would have said he was a liberal for sure. Like when you guys were on the edge, and he was definitely the pragmatic in trying to defend the liberals. He's not that way anymore. He really kind of gets it, but he doesn't live in a bubble. So he is around liberals all day long in the music world.
And he still thinks that the earth is actually round. And we all know that the earth is flat.
You think so?
Well, we all know the earth is flat.
Oh, we do. I didn't know we knew that.
Pilots are telling me that the earth is flat.
Pilots are telling you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eric also doesn't believe in chemtrails. And I know that chemtrails are real.
Well, and
Sorry, I do.
Chemtrails are real. They really are real. But not every cloud that you see that has
is a chemtrail.
Right. That's my thing, is that because there really are chemtrails and cloud seeding, that is a thing for sure.
And I'm not going to say the A word today.
The A word.
The continent.
Oh, don't say it. Don't say the A word.
We got some good things.
I thought you were going to say ass. I'm like, you can say a bad word, but
no.
you can't say, because our show will start going if you say that word.
Tracy says, when Trump gets back into office, can you imagine the cost of getting all these illegals? They're not migrants, they're illegals. And we need to start calling them for what they are, because political correctness, when you let that seep into your society, then you start to let things and crimes happen, because it's that slippery slope. You got to call things for what they are, because just because it may not sound as good or you're worried about somebody's feelings, you have to have truth. You can't have anything in life until you have truth first. They are illegals. So I continue. Can you imagine the cost of getting all these illegals back to their country? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's what Joe Biden has done and the deep state has done is unfreaking believable. Yeah, can't imagine the cost.
I want the Ukraine money back. If we could just get our Ukraine money back, we could send them back quite easily.
By the way, when we talk about chemtrails again, Joe says he has a picture of chemtrails hanging over Wentzville throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area right before all the weather happened.
Well, yeah, and Joe can put that up, because I saw that all over Facebook as well, that people were saying all over, I would say western St. Charles County, there was chemtrails or cloud seeding, and then we've had this weird weather. So I don't know, Joe, if you have the picture.
Yeah, whenever. I mean, I don't want to turn it into a chemtrail show. No. I mean, that's a subject on its own. But
it is. We could do more than 2 hours.
If you wanted to show it, that's fine too. I love this. Chris says, so would Cancel This be considered the Great Lakes Avengers if Trump's assembling the conservative Avengers main team? Sure, we'll be a part of it.
Yeah, we'll be the main team. We are going.
We'll be the mouthpiece.
Yes, and we'll bring all the listeners with us, because they are smart as hell. And what I like about them is they're thinkers and they're not echo chamber. I could work with
Vivek every day.
I'm
just telling you, I would. I'd work with Vivek. We would freaking kick media's ass
For sure.
on a daily basis in regards to getting truth out, getting stories out, redirecting, making sure people understand what the issues are and how they affect them as Americans, what the media is telling you and what they're not telling you. These are the stories. This is what we do at Cancel This.
Yep.
We continue to grow. Obviously, we are still looking for the kind of big national support that everybody looks for. We have dreams, we have aspirations. That's what we try to do. What we do. We come in here every day because we want to be big enough. You know what that actually looks like in the sky? It looks, the chemtrails that they're being called look like an A for the Avengers.
Oh my gosh, it does. Look at this. So
our listeners on the podcast, we're
yes,
showing pictures
Joe's showing pictures.
Alleged chemtrails
yes.
in St. Charles County in Missouri in Wentzville.
And it does look like an A for Avengers.
It does.
So we're going to go
with talking
that.
about it.
Even the Avengers in the sky.
We need to change our name.
Yeah.
People thought we should change our name because there people. A lot of other shows started and said cancel this. Like if you go to look for us, like on Apple, and if you have our Apple Pod, there's like 5 or 6 cancel this, cancel this. Then Roseanne Barr took our name and Fox took our name after we had it.
People are telling me left and like I think I told you guys a couple weeks ago.
We've done it for over a year and we've got so much
They're
out
like
there.
saying put names with it or something, because I had a lady when I went in and did my hair and she's like, I knew that you were on this podcast because so-and-so said it and I went to go look for it and I couldn't find it. I Googled your name and that's how I find it, but cancel this. She goes, I couldn't find it. So I don't know. What do you listeners think? Do we
I don't know. Maybe
add our names with it? Do we change it a little bit? I love cancel this. I don't want to change it, but it's hard to find.
Well, I almost started the show Cancel This with Vic Faust.
Yeah, that would be fine too.
But somebody was against that. That was not you.
Right. No, I'm not against that at all because I clearly am very pleased.
But then we went with Cancel This because I've always had a team aspect.
Correct. You still have a team aspect. You could still have a team aspect being Cancel This with Vic Faust.
But
because then they could Google in your name and find it.
How did we get on the Avengers?
Yes.
Cancel This Avengers. The Avengers.
Yes.
Roland says it pops up fine for him. Cancel This STL. Oh.
Cancel this STL. Might be just something to do something different, even though we're national. Like Greggy is going to say he's going to search cancel this with Vic Faust. I'm for cancel this with Vic Faust.
Oh, I like one though too.
What is it?
Cancel This 2.0, or is that?
Oh yeah, no 2.0. Yeah, just something that is a little bit different because once you guys have found the name of the show, it'll come up. You'll be able to find
Cancel This with Friends.
Cancel this
you guys,
with Friends.
You guys rock. I mean, you're the best group. You guys really are.
Look at Michelle's. The real.
Cancel this now. I like that too. Coming from Projo. We are talking to other people in the industry and people are like, wow, like your streaming is really good. Your interaction with people is really good. So you guys make this. You really do. Stephanie says no such thing as chemtrails. My husband is an airplane mechanic. And it's the vapors from the gas meeting the air. Yeah, I know. And that's what Eric says. And that's what several people say to Stephanie. And then we've also seen other planes and pictures where it gets intertwined with what's actually happening. At least that's what we're told, but I don't know. Does your husband say the world is round?
Yeah, you never know. It depends.
Troy says, can't cancel this. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, and then Mary says, the OG cancel this. So, I mean, there's a lot. We may have to do a poll and go with our listeners, all the different names, because all of our listeners can find it every day.
If we just called ourselves Trump, it would come up first in all the SEO.
Yes. We could just be Trump style, cancel this with Trump listeners.
I don't know. This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo running the boards and the video. Make sure we look and sound as good as we can. All of these things are happening in this country. Donald Trump putting us out in front center of all these things that are kind of going on. It just blows my mind when we talk about what we are. Now, there's another major situation that's going on. And by the way, if people were tuning in, wanted to know what from the view of Cancel This, Glenn says Q.
The Q version of cancel this.
Or you'd spell cancel this with a Q.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. I like from the view of cancel this. Could you imagine the spoof of that would be?
Jay Saunders says water vapor. We've got a couple different topics that are rolling right along now.
I love it.
Cancel this with coffee. Appreciate you guys. Cancel these nuts.
Oh, yeah. But cancel this has balls.
That was like, Jimmy, come on. That was like the 16-year-old thing.
Yeah, but right? I went along with him and said, cancel this with balls. So, Our listeners would appreciate that.
Just call it balls.
Just call it the show with balls.
Balls 17. Yeah.
Yeah, even Pro Joe's going balls.
Yeah, that's where it all goes. So we'll continue to update what's happening with Donald Trump. He's going to crush in Nevada. He's going to crush in South Carolina.
Yeah.
If Nikki Haley stays in the race, it's a very selfish thing, or she's being told you can't. You have to stay in it. Can't cancel this. CTWB. We did say, I have one person that said, don't change the name. Of course, you're never going to please everybody.
Yeah.
Just like in politics.
Yeah. And it's not like we don't like the name. We absolutely like the name. That's not it. We just keep getting told the first time you go and search it, it takes you a minute.
Tara, I need to say, because I know you guys are like really wanting these things out. Jimmy said, yeah, I know, Vic, but it's funny. You remind me of my little son saying that.
Yeah, but I
it's
agree
funny,
with
Dad. Tara says, cancel these balls. Cancel this balls out.
I love it. Uh-huh.
Or we could just go balls to the wall.
Yes. Yeah. Cancel this. Going balls to the wall. Hey, I kind of like that one.
Oh, my God. Jay says, Haley's so arrogant to drop or be a team player.
For sure.
Cancel this to infinity and beyond. The
Love
Avengers.
Love it.
Okay.
Boy, that was good too.
Yeah, there's lots of good stuff going on.
It really is.
Unfortunately, a couple other notes with, oh, no, I'm not saying that, Pro Joe.
What Pro Joe is saying.
Actually, I'll say it.
Say it.
Cancel this balls deep.
State.
Bingo. I had to let that marinate for a little bit. Tanya says, Trump 2024. Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe we'll do a show. I don't know. Maybe we'll come up with something and we'll let viewers
I think the viewers
pick a name. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe come up with 3 or 4 and take votes. Who knows? Mm-hmm. From the edge to cancel this. Just kind of long, though. I like that.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm afraid you'll confuse many people is what Mary said. Yeah, it could, but but if you're a loyal audience.
Yeah. When you just keep the name the same down at the bottom and you keep all the logos and all that the same. I don't know. And it's not that we're thinking it has to be changed. We love it. But too many people are telling us we're hard to find.
In the midst of all that going on, we were doing a lot of Trump talk in this first hour from some of those speeches that he gave. Oh, go figure. This is such a novel idea. You know what else called for yesterday?
What?
Voter ID in all 50 states. Gee, imagine that. Voter ID. That's so abrasive. He's such a bad man. He's such a racist. I don't want to get Roland going because Roland likes to say, oh, yeah, I'm a black man. And that means I don't know how to vote.
Right. I love Roland.
I'm so stupid. Oh, my God. Thanks, Democrats, for telling me I'm too stupid to know how to get a voter ID card that's racist. Mm-hmm. I do appreciate your input on that, Roland, and coming forward and not being an African-American who sits back and lets people who are getting rich off the backs of many African-Americans and not telling truth. So thank you for stepping up and doing that. Michelle says, Vic, has anyone seen Chris? Yeah, I talked to him from time to time. Joe saw him over the holiday. Joe did some work for Chris. So Chris had called me and looked for Joe's phone number. So we talked right before Christmas.
That's awesome.
Think he's doing well. I'm sure he's enjoying Florida. No one talk about, hey, I know Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of sounding like a Chris McConnell.
There you go. Chris McConnell.
David said, Cammie is such a nut job that she said it's racist to get an ID card because they don't have a fax machine.
What the hell? Oh, my gosh. But, they do say it's so condescending.
Well, let me let you know on a secret here.
Yeah.
Cammie's not exactly the smartest person in the world. I don't care if she has a law degree.
She's not smart.
She did get advanced in certain ways by doing certain things, and that's a fact.
That's a fact.
So she's good at something. I just know it's not politics.
Right. And it definitely isn't. And she can't get along with people. She's, you always see somebody in a team that can't play nice in the sandbox. And Cammie, I saw all kinds of reports yesterday that she can't play nice in the sandbox. It's always about her. It's always about, and she's not even the smartest tool in the shed. And why is that always? The one that can't play nice in the sandbox is always the one that doesn't tell full truths. And they also are not the smartest person.
Okay, holy crap. Lori just, for our listeners, you have to see this. And if you're viewing, sometimes the comments go so fast you may not catch up with this. But Lori just said, my sister had to pay $3,000, $3K just to get her adopted child to become a U.S. citizen. Lizzie, you may know something about this. Mm-hmm. But we're letting 10,000 illegals a day come in for free and giving some of them gift cards, shelter, food, clothes. But if you do it the right way, F you, says the United States government, says the Biden administration.
Yep, she's spot on about that. You know, we had 2 of our children are adopted, and we had to pay great money to both governments to make that happen. I had no issue with that. We were taking someone from a foreign land, making them an American citizen. That I have always seen that, that is a privilege, not a right. Now, my 2 girls have the same rights as all of them. It infuriates me because I don't even let my 2 daughters say anything negative about the adoption process, but I'll be damn if they're not letting people just free across the board.
These are your Chinese daughters, right?
Yes. And it's infuriating to see this happen. It's infuriating. And my girls are expected to be, yes, they have an Asian face, and I don't care if they want to do their Asian culture or whatever, but they're Americans. We identify as Americans.
How dare Donald Trump ask for voter ID in all 50 states? He's so bad. He's so mean, and his orange face, all those policy issues. He actually has a plan on how he's going to make things better. He's such a mean man.
Oh, he's nasty. Yes.
Jay says adoption's a money grab. What do you think about that?
Adoption is a money grab.
That's sad.
It is. And
especially when we need adoption to counteract what's happening in the abortion issue.
100%. It is such a money grab.
Maybe it's on purpose.
Well, you know what they do? The only part, you talk about a money grab, it's either case. I was talking to my daughter about this last night. She babysits for children that were adopted through the foster care system. Beautiful thing. But here's the thing a lot of people do not know is if you adopt through the foster care system, you still, even after you do the adoption, you're still paid a stipend by our government every month, and your child's state college, it has to be a state college, is paid for. Now, I'm not saying that should be taken away or not.
Okay, interesting subject.
However, I have children I chose to adopt. They're mine. They're now my problem. I don't think the government should give me money for my own child. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but you're different than most people.
Well, I don't know about that, but
No, you're not looking for freebies. You're not looking for handouts.
I don't want it.
You're a hard worker. You bust your ass. Your husband does that. You believe in America. You believe in the American dream. You believe in what made this country what it is. You also see, as I like to say, hate to say it, but it's the truth, the fabric of this country being ripped apart on a daily basis by the worst administration the country's ever seen. I mean, wow. How dare Donald Trump call out the deep state last night? How dare him call out the cartel? How dare him say, hey, brother, I'll meet you at high noon. I'll see you out there. Line drawn in the sand. How dare him ask for, voter ID? And then how dare him continue to beat all these indictments? By the way, did you hear Fani Willis, a judge, remove Fani Willis?
Yes.
Oh, the charade is falling apart.
Love it. Love every bit of it.
All these prosecutors, these evil, and I use the word evil on purpose because if you're a part of a prosecution that is fake, that is without merit, and it is only to hurt Donald Trump from a political standpoint, you are evil. And we have already seen it happen in New York. We're seeing it happening in D.C. Fani Willis removed by a judge because of political bias. Oh, gee. Now you have a judge down there in Georgia saying it's political bias, having sexual relationships with prosecutors that she hired. This stuff it gets worse and worse by the day. And it continues to show why Donald Trump is who he is. Yes. It continues to show why he has the support. Because while there still are many Americans with our head in the sand and we're just kind of comfortable because life makes you comfortable. I don't fault Americans for not understanding because you get used to listening to mainstream media.
Correct.
You get used to the comfort of America. But it all comes to an end if you continue to think, I'm just going to do with this. You have to work to continue to make things great.
Correct.
Donald Trump coming in right now is certainly lighting some things up for these people. Could you imagine if you were a liberal right now, how pissed you are? If you were somebody who hates Trump just for the hell of it, how pissed you are.
They have to be like
conservatives are frustrated about what's happened to this country. But can you imagine being a liberal watching Donald Trump destroy every hurdle, jump over every hurdle? I mean, literally taking out every single assassin that is sent at him.
Yes.
Like it's nothing. I
most of
guarantee
those
they're
people,
pissed.
well, most of those people are saying they need psychiatric help because they can't cope with this, and that's just so awful. And they don't even know why.
It's the pride again. It's the pride.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle says, shit, I'm not comfortable. I've been on edge since Biden cheated. Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm with Michelle. Our family has just gone through so much crap during this administration and what that administration caused with COVID. And we're not the only ones. I'm not sitting comfortable either. It's rougher in our house than it's been.
No, but you need people speaking up, and thank God the African-American community has done things like this. Just recently, I think it was last week. I mean, even 50 Cent was like, are you kidding me? It's total bullshit that we're paying for illegals' health care. Are you kidding me? Because if you're legal, you have to pay for your own damn healthcare, and healthcare is expensive.
Yeah, it is.
And you guys all know that. So thank God there are people who are coming out and saying that. I mean, we did that whole story with Charlemagne the God saying, you know what? I don't support Biden or Kamala anymore. We got to look at a person like Donald Trump because of what he's doing, what he's putting out there, because this stuff continues to happen. And of course, people being put in bad situations. Man, I love that conservative Avengers. I love it too. I need a cape or a suit.
Need a cape. Maybe tomorrow, come in with your Avenger outfit. Vic with Cancel This, the Avengers.
Something's going on. We love it. Real quick, want to give a shout out to our advertisers or sponsors before we get into what's happening in Texas, because what's happening in Texas is affecting what's happening at Boston's Logan Airport, which is what's happening at Chicago O'Hare's Airport. And what a Naperville, Chicago area politician did. This is literally in just 1 minute. Wait until you hear what this politician had to say about Naperville and asking people. We'll start it there and then get into these governors now supporting Abbott. The U.S. Supreme Court, you talked a little bit about it earlier in the week, saying that Texas had to cut down their barbed wire. You know what they're doing? They're putting it more up. Thank God they're doing it, but a lot of craziness is about to happen. First of all, want to give a shout out to Amini's in the Chesterfield Valley. Guys, I'm telling you right now, the saunas are amazing. The saltwater hot tubs are amazing. We know about their furniture, their games, but these saunas are affordable. And it's also showing years being added onto people's life, heart conditions improving, blood circulation being better as well. Of course, our friends, Experienced Real Estate Partners, Kathy Helbig-Strick, Steve Strick, saw that rates are supposed to go down again. Now is the time. If you're looking to buy it all, give them a call, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Don't wait. If you wait, you're going to be put in line, and then you're not getting represented in the best possible way. Get your plan together right now. Give them a call. And of course, New Age Health and Wellness. I've started that, had my blood draw. I'll be back in next week, find out how just unhealthy I am.
See how,
what it's going to take for me to lose 20, 30 pounds. We'll see where we go from there. Also, Route 66 Cannabis, your fast lane to the Midwest, premier shopping experience, 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. I mean, when it comes to the products, when it comes to the knowledge, you're not going to find anything better than Route 66. Of course, they've got their Cubana line going on, as well as the Ostara brands, which are found in locations all across the state of Missouri, different dispensaries, not just in their location. Strategic Air Services, the premier private transportation providers in all things aviation, from aircraft management to concierge services and acquisition. They're always looking for pilots. Planes are coming in and out of here all of the time. They're rocking and rolling. People love what they're getting. WeQuip, USA.com, a peer-to-peer rental marketplace. You go online, you need to rent an item, whatever it may be, or you want to sell an item, rent an item yourself. You can do that. Check them out. Of course, all of our advertisers and sponsors have contact links on our webpage. You go to canceltheshow.com, you click on partners, and they have the links on that page. And of course, Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, some of the best pizza, burgers, wings, and smoked meats that you're going to find, and entertainment on the weekends with their big outdoor patio, which is fantastic as well. All right. We appreciate all of the advertisers and sponsors. We're always looking for more. If you guys have information, contact Vic at cancelthisshow.com or Lizzie at cancelthisshow.com. Let us know about partners, people who want to advertise with us, back us in some way because they appreciate what we're doing. Let us know and we will get out to them as best as we possibly can. Okay. Also, we've got our merchandise line, cancelthisshow.com, hats, cups, coolies, shirts, attire, Cancel This coffee as well. You can check that out as well. Okay. Either politicians have really become this stupid, or somebody is, I don't know, putting their hand to a fire, or they've just run out of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But just wait until you hear this Naperville politician talking at a council meeting. Now, Naperville, for people who don't know, it can be a little bit wealthier neighborhoods, community in the Chicago area, suburb of Chicago. Chicago is one of the areas that has been overrun with illegals. And if you talk to people who live in Chicago, they will tell you what's going on, what's happening, how the city has changed. There's even more violence, how they don't have, quote, resources to take care of any of these problems. Thank you, J.D. Pritzker. He stayed out of the limelight for a while, hasn't he?
He just stuck his neck out a couple weeks ago saying a few dumb things.
Well, listen to this politician in Naperville and what he's saying, what he is suggesting to their community with a straight damn face. If this doesn't piss you off, I don't know what will. We'll see your thoughts are after hearing this quote.
I do know that there's a lot of people that do care. And I think we live in a compassionate community. So, before we go down the road of, doing what, following suit on some of these other cities are taking action on, my idea would be let's find out. Let's find out who's willing to help, So, we do hear from constituents on both sides of this. What are we going to do to preemptively stop this? And then we hear from people that tell us we should do more. So, we do have a very affluent community, a lot of big homes. And what I'd like to do is direct staff to create a sign-up sheet. So, for individuals that would be willing to house migrant families. And if there's people that would do that, God bless them. So if we could raise awareness in that way, I think we need to find out. I think we need to find out who would be willing to house migrant families. And so that would be my new business. I'd be looking for, support from the dais. Any questions, discussion, happy to have that.
Oh my God. What did I just...
Did we just hear what we thought we heard?
What did he just say? If there's anybody who's willing to take in the illegals, you have big homes.
I can't even believe he said that. That sounds like a joke you would have heard in a presidential show back in the 70s or the 80s as a joke.
He did not.
He was not laughing.
He put that compassion. If there's anybody that has a liberal bleeding heart and wants to take in some people, are you?
I highly doubt
me.
Anyone
did that just happen? That was just said.
Yeah, it was said. It was. Do you, Vic? Do you think anyone would open their door like that?
I don't know. I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
No, I doubt it.
There might be one or two do-gooders that think they can hire all this security to take care of it.
I can't believe there's actually somebody that got up in a mic in front of people.
What a dumbass. I couldn't even believe his face. And his face looked like he was just morphed into some wimp that was trying to convince himself into this.
I don't know. I can't. Yeah. Robert, I was getting to this. You read my mind. You and I think alike. Oh, if I can ever get back up to Michigan, my friend, I'd like to go golfing with you again. Robert, I like Robert.
I like what Robert said so much. Like, and less.
It's exactly
less on YouTube. He said, I bet he's compromised as F.
And let's start with that politician's home. I didn't hear him say, listen, if anybody out there is compassionate and has room, let them come into your house. And I'm starting with my house.
Yes, I'm going to start here first.
I think I'm going to sleep out in the yard in a tent until we can figure this out. And I'm going to let these really good illegals come in and stay in my home. I know that they only want a better life here in America, as Nikki Haley says. We need to accept them and let them come into our houses and eat our food and sleep in our beds.
Yes.
And use our internet and watch our TVs. And hell, maybe you can even add a phone to your plan for them as well.
Absolutely. And then you can give them money every day because they don't have a job, and you can give them an allowance to stay in your house.
Oh my God, this guy said that. I know Chicago is effed up, but holy crap. I feel bad for the conservatives in the Chicago area who are looking at their brethren, because we don't have a lot of that in the Missouri area. We don't. There's some. I mean, hell, in St. Louis City, it's as crazy as you're going to find. I mean,
correct. Yeah, we've got a few little pocket areas in Missouri, but
there
as
are
a
some
whole,
politicians.
we're common sense people around here.
No, I know. It's saying that my grandpa used to say, crazier than a shithouse rat. I mean,
Shithouse rat.
there are some politicians in St. Louis who are that way. But for the most part, Missouri's not dealing with what Chicago's dealing with. They're literally not, they're just forgetting about it being illegal. Like it was their fault that they somehow arrived illegally in the United States, and we have to pick up the bill.
Yes. And Paul's right. They're illegals. They're not immigrants. I can't stand it that even Fox calls them, they're migrants or they're immigrants. No, they are illegally here. They're illegals. There's no other word for it. And I want people to stop calling them migrants.
Once again, I'll get with Democrats and say, hey, I bet most of them are people looking for a better life, but not all of them. And even if every single one of these people who came to our country looking for a better life was true, guess what? We don't have the resources.
We don't.
It's busting everything at the seams, which is why there was a process in place. But if you want to destroy America, you get a compromised leader, you get a compromised administration, and then you go to work. And that's exactly what has happened in the last 3.5 years or 3 years.
Absolutely. And Projo said he thought that guy sounded like he was pandering to Christians, and that they do that. They will pander to
anybody with a heart.
Christians. Yes. Yeah, anybody with a heart. They don't even have to necessarily be Christians. And people on our chat line are saying the cartel.
Well, that guy, the councilman, he's Democrat.
Well, of course, yes. You had
bleeding heart liberal. We're not going to worry about the best of everybody. We're just going to, this makes us feel better at the moment. We're not worried about the big picture. We just want to feel good about ourselves right now. Right. Or they're compromised and they want to destroy things. A lot of Americans are looking for a better life. Just saying that. Yeah, Todd, that is an outstanding thing to say. Of course, our government has been infiltrated by the bad guys. If they're looking for a better life, then do it legally.
Yes.
Like my family did. Like so many people have done, like everybody else before Joe Biden came into office. Migrants come here legally. They did not come here legally. Go home. Migrants came here illegally, you mean? Illegally. There should be an I in there. Yes, I agree with you. Or you can call them illegal migrants. The word illegal needs to be in there.
I think it's illegal aliens, not even illegal migrants. They've changed the terminology to soften the blow to people over here. I won't even call them migrants. They're illegal aliens. That's the actual real term.
So that's happening in the Chicago area because they're really getting overrun. And you know what? They deserve it. They deserve every single thing. Oh, we're a sanctuary city. We love everybody. We're so great in Chicago. No, you're not. You're not all great in Chicago, and I'm sorry. Feel bad for the conservatives there, but the liberals who have brought this in and brought that on yourself, shame on you for that. Look at the Chicago video. Just look what's happening in their airports. It's so bad that people can't even sit in the airport. They literally have to go outside because they don't know where to house all the illegals that are coming into this country. And we're going to get to Governor Abbott and everything that's happening in Texas. I feel bad. Okay, this is about a minute or 2 minutes, but watch what this guy does. He's going to continue this to an interview with a Venezuelan military member, and he's bragging about it because they're pissed off because this guy is showing what's happening on at the airport and bus stations.
So just to give you guys an update on why I'm here, the flight got canceled in Chicago. I was actually flying home to see my girls. So I got to stay here a night. So I figure what better thing to do than come and show you what's happening, give you an update. And surprise, surprise, it's worse. There's more people here than there were before. That entire curtain all the way back for 100 yards is full, and they're actually coming out to here as well. And every single day, more and more and more bus loads. And there are hundreds of locations around the area here that are full. Every single day, they're getting more full. The weather's getting worse. And there's no end in sight because the Democrats are inviting more of this. What's up, bro? My boy again.
Hey,
Who said?
you get this guy away from me. This is the first guy who put me on the film the first time.
Yep, I put you on the film because he said my mom should swallow me. And you get to be on film because you're in public. Venezuela, they've actually, so this whole thing, this whole black curtain, full of illegals all the way down, the entire bus terminal's taken over. Who said no pictures?
Terrible.
They need to get this on the news.
Mm-hmm.
Mainstream media. That's what Cancel This does. We show you these
This whole bus
Other
terminal
people are
has
doing
been
across
taken
America
over
online
by illegals because
Real
they've
America's
been invited
voice.
in by Joe Biden. But now they don't even have room behind here. They have hundreds behind this black curtain. Now they're having to put the beds out here so that American citizens can't even sit out here anymore. You got more beds coming here. So American citizens are standing out in the freezing cold out here because they don't want to come in here. And on February 2nd, this entire thing is getting taken over where media is not going to be able to come in, citizens aren't going to be able to come in.
Terminal.
It's only illegal aliens that are going to be allowed to be in here. This is Joe Biden's America. This is the Democrats' America. Please stay away from curtain. Please stay away. Don't touch. Private. It's private here, guys. Private here. So if I go in there, I'm breaking the law. But if you come in illegally into our country, that's fine. Venezuela.
Venezuela no good. Nicolás Maduro.
Sí.
No good.
No good.
Nicolás Maduro no good. Hace 9 años en Venezuela era militar.
Okay, militar.
Sí.
Wow. Military from Venezuela.
Así.
There he is.
Well, he's right in our face.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could kind of see through the sheet.
Hundreds,
but
it's
there's
hundreds.
a lot of people in there. For the most part, I just think that, you can't cross over any border in any other country but ours.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, it's a lot of military-age men
Yeah.
coming from other countries, and that's concerning.
Yeah.
But I know people want to have a better life, and America's the land of golden opportunity. But I think there has to be just a legal and a fair way to get here.
Okay,
Can't
we
handle
get
it.
out of
I know
this.
we can't
program.
handle
This
it.
is
Can't
what's
handle that.
sad because you don't
I don't
see
want
all of these
freeloaders with that
situations.
many
This is a time bomb waiting to blow.
It really is. It really is.
It's in so many bad ways. Nothing good can happen out of any of this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only going to get worse.
Correct.
Until the border is secured.
And look at him. He's the only one showing that. And you will not see this there anywhere else.
Don't you dare cross that black curtain.
Don't you dare. And like he said, that's illegal to look. Probably even if he opened that curtain,
How dare
he would have
you?
been arrested.
Oh, it's bad in Chicago, but guess what? People in Boston, another ultra liberal city, getting exactly what they deserve. And they're all begging for help now, but they refuse to call out Joe Biden by name. Check out Logan Airport in Boston. That's right. If you've ever been through Logan Airport, and I have, imagine you come in there and illegals all over the freaking place in your way. Here's Logan. Check out this as we talk through it. Up and down, all around, because they don't have anywhere else to put the illegals. Literally camping out in your airport, the airports that you use, that you pay money to go to, and then this is what you have to deal with. I'm sorry. There are so many things that are unsafe about this, and I'm not even just saying physical. And somebody has to pay for everything that's going on at those places.
Well, and just think about how many of these slip on planes. And I'm going to say that because we would not have thought they would just slip in our country. And now that's why so many people don't even want to go to the airport, don't even want to go on the planes, because we've reported this on the show before. They don't even have the security on airplanes that they used to.
This is freaking Logan Airport
That is
in Boston.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. And like Mary's saying, think of the disease that's coming in here. They wanted us all to take shots and flu shots and this and that. No one in there has vaccinations. No one in there is probably medicated. There's probably so much gross contagion.
Jeannie says she's going to be in 2 airports on Wednesday of this next week. She'll check back. Jamie says, are going to live there forever? Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah, where are they going?
What is the plan? There is no plan. And there's only more of those, what you see coming into this country. And the free food we give them, 100%, Mr. Peter Ball, which is what I was talking about earlier, is now causing higher taxes and food prices because there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Correct.
We have to pay at some point, some way, all of us pay. And then, oh my God, it's going to get into insurance as well. Just wait till rates start to go up with insurance, where illegals are and more crime and things start to happen. It's going to happen. And as Margie says, so much for that virtuous heart.
Mm-hmm. You're creating a problem. So if you had this virtuous heart and you thought this was all a great idea, now I would like to talk to those people. What's your plan with these people now? What's your plan?
There is no plan. And this is and then of course, I mean, you literally had John Kirby on yesterday with Martha McCallum, and he's like, well, we have a plan. And she's like, there is no plan. And he is literally, KJP isn't talking about it because we know what her brain is and her ability, which is low, unfortunately. Kirby's out now doing a lot more speaking, and that pisses off the DEI hire too, by the way. That's a whole nother story.
It sure is.
She's pissed that Kirby's doing a lot of talking.
Yep.
Kirby's out literally telling Martha McCallum on Fox News, well, we do have a plan. We're trying. We need Congress to give us money to fight. No, you don't need money to go and fight the border. Go down there now. We have resources. Get down there, lock it up, allow Texas to put their barbed wire up. Stop trying to shut them down by going through the Supreme Court. Go down there. Do it right now. Allow it to happen. Don't fight Texas in court. Now the government's lying to us again about trying to help out what's happening with the border.
It's crazy.
There is no end in sight to all of those things. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, we're showing you what's happening, which leads us into the whole situation, what's going on in Texas. Even Mitch McConnell, and I'll say the word that some people don't like us to say, Mitch McConnell Rhino is now saying, we can't have funding for Ukraine and the border at the same time. We got to take care of the border. Freaking even Mitch McConnell's going, wait a second. The border has to be number one. What have we said on Cancel This since the show started? The number one issue in this country, illegal aliens coming into this country. The border has to be stopped. That's why we brought you people like John Rourke, who's amazing, who cleans up the border after these people who don't care, who show no respect for this country, by the way. Most of the people that are coming are not showing respect. They're trashing it as they're coming in.
Yes.
Because that's the way that they've grown up. That's what they know. That's what they care. It's their country. We're going to go take over a new country. They're giving us, quote, free things. Texas Governor Abbott is not listening to a U.S. Supreme Court decision, a 5-4 decision from earlier in this week that said he needed to take down barbed wire to keep people out of Eagle Pass, Texas. That's in Shelby Park. It's Shelby Park and Eagle Pass, Texas. They're refusing. And you know what they're doing? They're putting more barbed wire up, and they're showing video of how the barbed wire is keeping illegals out. Isn't it amazing? A deterrent will actually work. So Biden was pissed off, so he went to the U.S. Supreme Court. So by law, the U.S. Supreme Court, and you know what? The more I looked at it, Lizzie, and I know this may upset people, I think I understand why the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 in favor of Biden.
Right. I understand it. I just don't like it. By the letter
of the freaking law.
Correct.
But it brings up a whole new situation here because am I happy? Do I think it's good to put a deterrent up? Hell yeah. Do I think it's good to put up the barbed wire and to say no? You better 100% believe I do think it is. I think it's a damn good thing. But what if the Supreme Court ruled in favor of something that us conservatives liked? And Democrat states said, you know, we're not going to listen to the Supreme Court.
Right. They're just going to do it anyway.
They'll do whatever they want in their state. I mean, think about that. That's the flip side of this. We try to have honest conversations and not just be an echo chamber of everything that's going on.
Correct.
The reason I think it's different is that there's an invasion going on.
That's where I differ with it too. There's some people that are saying that Amy Coney Barrett, who is the one conservative that voted along with the Democrats, because the letter of the law, she wasn't wrong. I do understand that. But the other 3 or 4, I guess it was 3, they voted to, keep the razor wire there. I think it's different. I don't care what Amy Coney Barrett is saying. There's an invasion now. It's different than just any other law. The number one thing that politicians and our president is supposed to do for us is keep us safe. That is the number one, and they're not doing it. They're not doing it. So I don't know. Megan, the other day when she and I were on, she said very similar to you, Vic, that there has to be a reason she did it, that it must be constitutional or something.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
do. I get it. I agree with you both. But I think, I don't care, Amy. If you were right here, I would say there's an invasion and you're okay with this?
Well,
you're okay with this?
Well, here's a quote and here's what Governor Abbott said, because my God, what he has got to deal with down in Texas is absolutely insane. We've heard about it from Colonel Joe. We heard about it from John Rourke, those former military members, saying it's not a crisis, it's an invasion, it's a disaster. Governor Abbott saying, quote, I have already declared an invasion to invoke Texas's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. Governor Greg Abbott, Republican, Texas. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that he is doing what he is doing. That man has been put in a position to be a hero there. And I hope people in Texas see him as a hero. And you know who else I love? Because they're not in any position yet. Can they grab some headlines? Certainly. But you know what? There's always going to be some pushback. These governors didn't have to say anything.
Mhm.
These governors didn't have to put their name out there. But here's just 5 of them. And I don't know if there may be more governors. Ron DeSantis from Florida backing Governor Abbott.
Good.
How about Glenn Youngkin, Virginia? Kristi Noem, of course, South Carolina. You've got Kevin Stitt. These are all governors who have come out publicly and said, yeah, we back what's happening with Governor Abbott.
And I can't imagine why every single governor, especially a red state governor, doesn't come out.
I was waiting for, where's Parson? Why isn't Parson doing it?
Why isn't he? Why isn't Parson doing it? Now, yesterday he was on TV talking about, some of the things that he accomplished because he gave his last, big speech of his career as a governor. I was disappointed in the speech, and I'm not one of those, even though I was.
Well, we have to be honest. We love Parson.
I don't
we have to
dislike
be.
him.
Politicians are not always going to please us in every single way.
Correct. And I was a huge Greitens fan. For Parson to have won me over said a lot. I liked a lot of what he did for abortion and our states' right and all of that. But on his way out, he said nothing about the most crucial thing that is facing us, our southern border. Nothing. He didn't say a thing.
I wonder why he stayed out of it.
We're
going to have an interview with him coming up, and we're going to ask him about that.
Yes. And
we've just been trying to find some times and dates to do that, but I'm in contact with his people quite a bit. So John says the red states must take legal action and begin to issue warrants for the arrest of Biden, Mayorkas, Harris for aiding and abetting illegal activity such as sex trafficking, drug trafficking, and invasion of our states.
Mm-hmm.
The Biden thuggery administration is violating our state laws. Fair enough. I agree with you, Dady. I do, and it's happening. But as Robert reminds us, but just when the states went to the Supreme Court on the 2020 election,
mm-hmm.
those states have no standing.
Right.
It is interesting. It's another great point. And Chris said, you know what? Parson's kind of a middle of the road conservative. That's what he has been. He didn't want to get too hot, too cold, kind of stay in the middle, try to please everybody as much as possible. There were some issues that he has jumped in on, a few of those, and don't think for a second that he wasn't behind the removal of Kim Gardner. I'm just going to tell you what happened behind the scenes.
He was.
He just didn't want to be out front and center. He's a man. He grew up in the country. He was a sheriff. He wanted to do politics, but not politics in 2024.
Correct. I don't think he even knew what was coming. And I think you're right, Vic. He did a lot of things behind the scenes that I think us fellow conservatives would be very proud that he did. Case in point, he made good appointments like, AG Andrew Bailey and Eric Schmidt and their appointments. And he's more humble and he stays behind. But on this one, this is one of the few things I'm like, okay, Parsons, say something about it.
Maybe, okay, I'm wondering this. A lot of times, Parson, he's the governor of the state of Missouri, we have viewers and listeners all over the country and the world for that matter. There's a lot of politicians in the country like this. There are where I'm not going to say something for a headline if it's not going to mean anything. But if I need to do something, then I'll jump in and I'll actually do something tangible, not just throw something out there to get a headline.
Mm-hmm.
Because politicians love to get headlines.
They do.
Parson is not one of those guys.
No.
And that's why, even if it makes the Republican base feel better, yeah. And when I saw DeSantis, Noem, Stitt, Youngkin going publicly, I'm like, yeah, I love that. And of course, if you live in Missouri, if you live in other conservative states, you're like, yeah, where's our governor?
Mm-hmm.
Where's our governor back? And of course, if you're a liberal, you're not going to do it. But I also saw a comment down here earlier. I think I don't know if it was from Ronald, but somebody said, it's amazing how many Republicans haven't stood up.
Correct. And
to
I'm not
illegal
sure
immigration either. And you're
why.
right. You're right. From that comment, I can't remember who said it. but you're 100% right.
Yeah, I don't get it. I can understand where there's a lot of controversial things that they don't want to stand up for to ruin their career on. I get it, because there's some things that they want to say, and I've said this a billion times, people that are being very loud about personal property tax when our Missouri Constitution, unless it's changed, means you have to deal with the income tax first. So I get why some people are telling the truth and others are telling you what you want to hear. I get that. But the border, that's a different situation. Taxes is theft, but you're not going to die from it. The border is an invasion.
What can happen in the state of Missouri? What can happen in Oklahoma? What can governors really do? I mean, you can say something publicly that sounds good, but what can you do?
But what can you do? You have to be honest, because everybody, when
what are the laws that you're putting in place? Is there an effort? Is there money to go after? Now, we've also got these other issues that, okay, do illegals have rights? Because in some states they do.
But I don't get that. I guess there's states saying that they have rights. I don't get it.
As you saw in the airport, they have rights.
They have rights there because their states have said that they do. And so that's why I don't want, any states that any of our listeners live in. I know a lot of them live in Illinois that have to deal with this kind of garbage that you go to bed at night. Last night, for the first time, somehow one of my kids or my husband left the garage door open. Years past,
how dare them?
Well, years past, I wouldn't even have been that concerned about it. I really wouldn't have, because where we live, there's hardly no crime, yada, yada. My first go-to was, oh my gosh, you need to go set the alarm. Somebody broke in, whatever, because this whole illegal thing, they are in my town now. They are there. And I don't trust someone that's here illegally. I don't. They might be the nicest person, but I don't trust them.
No,
I don't.
You can't. You're only going to get hurt.
Correct. Yeah.
And there's so many of these stories that are happening, and crime is going up. And there's an expectation for Americans to take care of the illegals. And that's what you have coming from Joe Biden. And now you see his staff lying. And this is what pisses me off. Just be honest with people. And you know what that show's about. We can't worry about people's feelings. Now you have Biden and his people saying, well, we care about the border. We're trying. It's the Republicans' fault. No, it can't be attached to anything. If you think you really need money, fine. Then cut off money to other countries and put it at the freaking border. Take care of our own issue first. It's all a lie. And once again, this is why Joe Biden will not be reelected if he is running. I still don't see any way in hell this man can be put up for election when he can't complete sentences. And of course, his stumbling yesterday was nowhere on national media. It was on very few podcasts because people need to go and do their research, which we do on this show, and put out everything. The man is insane. He does not have the cognitive ability to even freaking hold a local office, much less greet people at Walmart. Yet he is given this position, and holy shit, are we in problems.
Well, you're going to see that if they're going to run him again, he's going to go back to the basement and stay there. And you won't see Cammie either. He ran an entire election from nowhere. We never saw him. So that's what they're going to start doing again, is putting him back in the basement.
Chris says, I thought that in 2020 as well, but here we are.
Yeah, see, I agree with you, Chris. I think they are going to run him again, and they're just going to keep him in the basement. They are. And they're going to hope they're banking their ticket now on Nikki Haley. They're banking her.
Or a rigged election. The only way, if Joe Biden were to run, the only way is a rigged election.
Correct.
So some sort that I just,
we
have to
count on
anybody with half a brain knows there's no way Joe Biden would ever beat Donald Trump in a non-rigged election.
Correct.
Take Venezuela, for example. We give them foreign aid that equals about $100,000 per citizen. So we pay them and we pay them here. That's coming from Andrew Wilco. I mean, think about that. We continue to pay these other countries where people are leaving. They come to our country, and then we're stuck paying for them here as well. It's all a plan. It's purposely done to destroy what was the wealthiest country, what was the greatest country. That isn't anymore. There's a spirit here of still being the greatest country, but we're not the greatest country when we can't take care of the stuff that's happening and we're running on borrowed time. Remember, Vic, they are always 10 steps ahead of the conservatives, as they have been. Maybe not Donald Trump, though. There's no way in hell they're ahead of Donald Trump, in my humble opinion. And why do I say that? Because of what Donald Trump did in office, what he said he was going to do and what he did, and now the messages that he is putting out there in public.
Yeah, it's unreal.
That's where I see that. That's where I see it going.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a Democratic strategist that said the basement technique needs to be the way forward for Biden to get reelected. Of course. We talk about that if somebody's new here or if you're just jumping into the show. It's not just Democrats. Republicans use it. And more people are starting to use it. As a matter of fact, I know a consultant who, after getting a certain politician elected to a national office, was very in demand to teach younger campaign managers how he did it and what's the best way to get people elected in the next 10 years. I'm just telling you, it would make you sick to your stomach because it's not a message of going out to talk about every single issue you have and how you're going to do this and how you do it, because the more you put out, the more people can attack you. Like, okay, now we know this. We're going to go attack. We need to get them on the record, and then maybe we can use that against them. And why are they afraid to do this? Because other strategists are coming to do that against you. So then you're like, whoa, wait a second. The more we put out there, then these other strategists are going to come after us. And then all of a sudden you have everybody holding their butt. They've got their wall up and they've got their guns out and they're just kind of waiting, but they're not talking. And those are a lot of the political candidates we have to vote for, because when you hire a consultant in politics, you listen to what they say.
Correct. And you do it because you don't know what to do next. And some of these campaign managers, even at local levels, people don't know that, but even
these
at
are very
local
intelligent
levels,
people.
They have campaign consultants, and it's almost like there is a script that they're told, and then most of it is just to be quiet.
Michelle says, I started to really dislike this country when Obama was in office, but then Trump got in and the love started to come back.
I agree with her.
But then bam, what happens with the election? And then all of a sudden you have Sleeping Joe coming in. And what has happened over the last 3.5 years. The worst harm that has ever been done to this country has been done in the last 3 years in a variety of ways. And you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. You know what's happening. You see it and you live it.
And it's so sad, because I agree with Michelle. I thought it was really bad during Obama as a business owner. And that's when I got to be such an advocate of fighting for freedom. And then they took our freedom away, but they took our vote away, and we're stuck. The government, the cheating, whoever, the deep state, the uniparty, they took our right to the president that we chose. And some people say, well, Lizzie, they didn't cheat. Well, you haven't proved to me that it wasn't cheating, because all of the research that came, judges didn't allow us to hear it. So I'm still going to say, why would you hide this? Why can't we see it if you didn't cheat? And we've noticed that all across America, they're cheating in local elections too. So now the freedom type people have rose up, and it's not that we really want to be Republican or Democrat. We want our country back. We want to have less taxes. We want to feel safe, and we want to close our damn border.
Okay. Just think about this for a second, what we're dealing with in this country, all those issues that you were just talking about. And then now, on top of it all, you have more and more issues being added to the mix every single day of problems. Not good things, problems. Problems in this country that seem to be unsolvable. And don't think for a second, and I'm so grateful Carrie Lake did what she did. Somebody asked earlier, what do you think about her having a wire in that situation when she knew what was going to happen?
I'm glad she had one.
We're talking about her safety.
Yes, I'm glad she had one. And you can tell she was trying to keep it casual, because if you listen to it, and you played it in great detail yesterday.
She wasn't trying to provoke anyone.
Nothing. She didn't
go and wire, I'm going to provoke this person.
No, she actually didn't talk as much. She did more listening, and you could hear she was eating her lunch.
She was afraid.
She was afraid. You could tell. You could tell she was very concerned. I'm glad she had a wire on, and I think a lot of our.
But she wanted to get the root cause of the illegal activity.
Correct.
There was illegal activity that was going on. That's what she was afraid of.
I think a lot of our very good politicians should be wearing a wire if it is legal in your state to do so. Because I know in our family we have someone. We're threatened all the time because we have a politician in our family. It's bizarre at a local level. It's the weirdest thing. I mean,
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I am dead serious. That's why another part of the reason I panicked when the garage door was open is because the wackadoodles sit in front of our house. It's bizarre. And you know what? It's different kinds of wackadoodles. That's what people don't understand. Politicians have to deal with. It's, of course, the weird left, but the right has infiltrated with people that are pretending, and you're getting attacked from your own party all the time. So when you run, you better warn your family. The attacks come from both sides, and sometimes people you think are good.
Get out of the race. There is a deep state.
You
can call them rhinos. You can call them whatever you want, but it was proven again on camera.
Absolutely.
Or excuse me, on
the
audio.
microphone. Yes.
It's a problem, and it's happening all over this country. Get out of the race. We don't want you, or else. Take the money, or else. Your health, your safety could be in jeopardy, or else.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we're told, oh, don't talk about politics. It was the old adage, don't talk about politics. Don't talk about religion. Just keep your head down.
Yep.
Just, you don't ruffle any feathers. You know, everything's going to be just fine. Just go about your way. You know, you don't want to bring things up. If you bring things up, you're a bad person. No, you're not. You're not.
You're not a bad person.
Not when you have facts.
Correct. And make sure, and that's a good
not
point.
When you're
make
polite
sure you
and persistent.
have facts.
You've got to talk from a factual standpoint.
Yes, facts.
It can't be from a feeling standpoint. It can't be from an emotional standpoint.
Correct.
Once again, nothing can exist in life that is of any worth unless you have truth first. Truth has to be there.
Mm-hmm.
This is Cancel This, CancelTheShow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks. Thanks, guys, for liking, subscribing, sharing the shows, getting it out to as many groups as possible as we continue to put that out, because every day we're like, what's next? 2024, here we go. Something crazy every day, something that we're not used to every day, some sort of elevated situation every single day. Don't forget the Hunter Biden stuff is still going on. The Biden crime syndicate family, which is another reason why I don't think he'll be running. There's no way in hell, because that it would give more or maybe if.
And see, I think that's why he will continue to run, is to
the story all disappears.
Protection.
No, the story disappears if he's out.
Well, good point. Yeah.
It disappears. Then he and his son can go smoke crack and hang out with whatever hookers and lie and cheat and steal with whatever bad actors they want to, and not be associated with our country anymore. Man, oh man.
That was a mouthful. What you just said, that was a mouthful. All the stuff that you're telling us today is a mouthful, and it's frightening, but we have to get it out. We have to tell the truth, and you have to have the facts so you know how to protect yourself. And that's what it's become to.
What is ahead here in 2024?
It's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be like, you can't let a day go by without research.
I'm starting to wonder if that's why Nikki Haley is still in this election, because just to keep another something to keep our attention off of moving forward. Donald Trump is all about moving forward right now.
Correct. Yeah, he wants to move forward.
And he's talking about what he's going to do as president.
Yeah.
But then I'm wondering, is Nikki being paid because they know she's not going just to create more controversy?
Sure.
Again, don't look at this. Don't look at that.
I believe so, because you look at her donors. Her donors are not conservatives. They're not a Make America First agenda. All the America First people have all gotten behind Trump. It's Democrats. And she loves it because she'd already be gone. So she knows that her support is by Democrats and independents. Now, independents are great because our independents helped get Donald Trump elected when our Republicans wouldn't help. But she doesn't have any conservatives voting for her at all anymore. None, not one conservative.
And she certainly doesn't have the Black community.
No, she doesn't.
There was, and you need more people like this rising up. Joe, if you can hear it, Lizzie, can you get me that remote over there, please?
Yes, I can.
Joe, can we run, if you have that video of the Fulton County resident at his council meeting, ripping what has become, what has happened to politics, because it is amazing when you hear this perspective and it's coming from an African American. Listen to this. And this is maybe, this may make you feel better. I don't know if it's changing things, but the more you say things public, and even though corporate media is falling apart, and by the way, corporate media is falling apart. They were dominant. They still have a lot of pull, but not the pull that they once had. Listen to this.
Good morning, Commissioners. Derek Blassingame. It is a pleasure and an honor to address you all today. Some of you all have made a comment this morning on my way in that he's done, he's through, it's over. Well, I want to let you know that Derek Blassingame, I'm done with Fulton County fumbling our elections. I'm done with the gross mismanagement of our taxpayer dollars by the Fulton County Democrats on this body. I'm disgusted at the information that is coming out of the district attorney's office as a taxpayer. I am done with most of your silence at the DA's apparent love affair with the special prosecutor and gross mismanagement of taxpayers' dollars to pursue what appears to be a frivolous lawsuit based off of partisan politics. Apparently, guys like me need to court Fulton County female executives if we want a free ride at all paid expense. Apparently, we need to pursue Natalie Hall and Fonnie Willis, or maybe the executives in other departments, if we want a full ride and full pay. The DA appears to be trying to protect past elections, but upon information and belief, she's trying to interfere.
Okay, we lost some of that right there, but what he goes on to say is he's talking about what Fonnie Willis did, and of course, the judge saw through it.
Trying to convict a candidate before the general election.
I'm
requesting a financial audit to be done by the county auditor of the district attorney's office immediately. There is no way that you get more money when you're spending money, allegedly, for unnecessary and frivolous purposes. Also, these judges need to hire a lobbyist instead of grandstanding this board with these mediocre public relations stunts. Magistrate Court still needs a systemic boost and an IT transformation that's been achieved by the Superior Court clerk. It needs to be pulled together.
15 seconds.
Thank you. Finally, I'm urging you to appoint Julie Adams to the Board of Registration and Elections without delay. And we need somebody that's transparent, that's open, and that can be open-minded to all concerns and can address the people's needs. I'm also want that audit of the DA's office immediately.
Amen, my brother. I appreciate it. That's what you get out there. Of course, those are the kind of things that need to be shown, and we're going to show them here. So you get the perspectives of people. Just because somebody lives in a certain area, just because they have a certain color of skin, does not mean that they are going to get stereotyped some way.
Great. I was glad to hear what he was saying. And that's what we're seeing amongst the Black community right now, is their understanding that they might have voted for Joe Biden and Cammie. Some people voted for her because supposedly she's Black, and some people voted because, Biden promised the Black community so many things. Plus, Blacks, traditionally have voted Democrat. But now they're waking up and going, wait a minute. Really, Democrats are really, a lot of them are racist, and they don't give a frick about us. And we need to wake up and stand up. And a lot of them are not turning Republican necessarily, but they're voting differently and voting Republican because the light bulb went off. I mean, these last 2-3 years with Biden have been a train wreck, and it has hurt the Black community as much as it has hurt the white community. And a lot of these illegals that we were talking about earlier have moved in their community.
And once again, when the attacks continue to happen that Willis tried to do on Trump, just remember, if new things come up, remember why it's happening. You've also, Colorado tried to take Trump off the ballot. They're doing anything and everything to keep him off the ballot. You see what's happening in this country where there's a fight for freedom, and you see a Marxist Nazism agenda, a socialist agenda of trying to stop anything and everything you can about the freedom, even to run for office. And by the way, Colorado got put in its place. He's on the ballot. Maine was hoping, liberals were hoping they would keep him off. Then the Secretary of State said, guess what? The ruling to kick Trump off the ballot is toothless and political and leaves Trump on the ballot. News coming out. We're just trying to get those updates before we call it a show today. I also wanted to make sure, it was the topic that we were talking about earlier, but it just came out. I wanted to make sure I gave credit to all the states that are backing Texas publicly.
Good. Okay.
Now, they're at least doing it publicly when it comes to what Texas is doing in trying to deter illegals from coming into this country and hurting this country further. Arkansas, Florida, Iowa, Idaho, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Those are all the states.
Well, that's a lot more than we thought. So that's a good sign. That really is a very good sign.
And when you have that many states, it makes you wonder, why hasn't Missouri done anything?
Right.
And Missouri's a state where we broadcast live out of. Really,
Correct.
Why hasn't Missouri?
And we're a very red state.
An all red state.
We're an
That's not all that far from the border.
Correct. We're not that far from the border. We have a lot of illegals.
In the grand
here.
scheme of things, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have a lot of illegals.
And there's illegals running all over Missouri.
Yeah.
I do agree. I mean, I think it's a fair question.
I do think it's fair. And I paid attention to, the governor of Missouri's farewell speech, so to speak, yesterday. And he didn't mention that anywhere. He didn't really mention illegals anywhere. He mentioned some of the good things that he did.
And there's so many people who continue to rip Caleb Rowden.
Well, and here's the deal.
I can't figure him out.
We talked about this yesterday. And so a lot of people do not like Caleb Rowden. We hit this real hard yesterday, and we had Scott Fawn saying it. I do understand.
Caleb likes him, respects him, thinks he's done a good job, but so many others think that he's ultra liberal.
You mean Scott likes Caleb? Is that what you're saying?
That's what he said in our show.
And when we listened to him yesterday, if any of you guys did not hear it yesterday, I highly recommend you go back and listen to yesterday's show where Scott Fawn talked. I do understand what Caleb did really was petty, taking the parking spots away and all of that. And I am definitely someone like the freedom
from
people
other
from
Republicans who've been challenging him for a while.
Correct. But there really is more to the story. And we can get into it again. We don't have enough time today, but go back and listen to Scott Fawn, because if you're in Jeff City, there is this echo chamber of personalities, and it's not always as it seems. It really isn't. It is not always. And you guys who know me well know I am the first one to pounce on someone that's wrong. There is two sides to the story, guys. There really is two sides to the story. The old Lizzie Sparks would have just jumped on Caleb Rowden till the cows come home and yelled. I mean, Vic knows this about me, and yelled and screamed, and I'm going to protest him. Guys, there's two sides to this story. There really is. And if you're only jumping on this because someone told you and you did not hear both sides, we're not going to get anywhere in Missouri or any state for that matter. So I highly recommend that you go back and listen to Scott Fawn. Some people don't like Scott Fawn. Some people don't. And I was one before I came to the show. I was like, I don't know about him. He's just telling you the truth. He actually talked very nice about Bill Eigel yesterday. He really did, and said he would be a good governor, but he's not for the whole Freedom Caucus jumping on Caleb Rowden, maybe the parking space thing a little bit, but there is a whole other side going on. And I urge you to take whatever side. I love you guys no matter what side you take on this, but I urge you to go back and listen to Scott Fawn's take on that. And I urge you to be careful, because there's a lot of impeding on progress, and it's not always what you think it is down there.
Yeah. One thing that we need to get into, which we haven't, and I totally forgot to get in because there's so much good Trump going on.
There really is.
Tucker Carlson was in Canada, and he filled out, look at this video of Tucker Carlson in Canada. We got Tucker Carlson sound and video. The video, he sold out. I mean, it looked like he had the stadium sold out to hear Tucker Carlson speak.
I can imagine. I would
on
love to see
how
Tucker.
Canada basically, how it's recognized. Look at this video as we talk over it. This is a sporting event. This isn't for Donald Trump. This is to hear Tucker Carlson speak.
Awesome.
I mean,
wow, look at that.
I know. And he hit a lot of Trudeau and the Marxism and communism and connections to Fidel Castro, because we've shown those pictures here about Trudeau possibly being the son of Fidel Castro, and just blew my mind. Here's Tucker talking a little bit last night about what Canada's having to deal with.
The last thing I'll say, which also may be controversial because it sounds like a parochial concern or some sort of, weird religious thing or something, and it's not. But take a look at what they're doing to your Christians. And I say this for a couple of, I am a Christian, but that's not why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because there's kind of no more inoffensive and peaceful group in the world than the Christians. In fact, there isn't. The religion tells them, commands them to turn the other cheek and to put the concerns of others above their own concerns. So if you have a problem with those precepts, explain it to me. Speak slowly so I can understand. I think every person in this room, regardless of your faith, can agree, yeah, I'm for that. I wish I was more like that. That's good. We need more of those people in society. Serve others for the sake of service. People who pray for their enemies. Who does that? Who would pray for an enemy? No one, except for Christians, and they do. They're commanded to. So if you're hassling that group, maybe you've got another agenda that we should be concerned about, even if we're not in that group. If we burn 90 of their churches to the ground, and the Prime Minister and his little weird buddies are endorsing that, burning churches, if you're on the side of burning churches, let me just say, I don't need any other facts of the case, you're on the wrong side.
Amen.
Amen, brother. There, and what he's getting into is talking about what happens in the Muslim faith. And I'm not saying all Muslims, but that's what he's referring to. If you go and burn somebody else's church, clearly you're not a Christian, and clearly that's not God's side.
Right. I loved what he said. And he says, I would say 99% is what other people won't even say. And that stadium being so full, and people on our chat line are saying possible VP. I would love for him to be the VP.
No, he's not.
But he's not going to do it.
He's got a network. He's got a brand new network.
Well, and it's good for him being on the outside, being this big of a voice too. And
Bingo.
I love him being on the outside, being a big, big voice. And if people didn't understand this before, Tucker didn't jump on the Trump bandwagon right on 2016. He actually wasn't real fond of him. And then he now is filling stadiums and understand what Trump was saying the whole time was right.
And one of our viewers, listeners wanted us to remind everybody that Trudeau was speaking before he was elected, talking about the government that he most admired was the CCP. Yet Canada still voted for him. Yeah. Also, before we get out of here today, an update too. By the way, it was also Speaker Mike Johnson publicly said last night that he supported Texas and Governor Abbott. And his quote was, "I stand with Governor Abbott. The House will do everything in its power to back him up. The next step, holding Secretary Mayorkas accountable." So we'll continue to follow that battle and what's happening in Texas. Texas trying to keep illegals out. The government says you have to keep wires cut down. And if that allows illegals to come in, so be it.
That's terrible. That's just terrible.
Yeah, and that's where we sit right now. But another big show today. I mean, we appreciate all the support, the love, the likes, subscribing, sharing of the show. If you can do a donation, fantastic. You can do it at canceltheshow.com. If you know of advertisers who we can partner with, people who just want to sponsor us, we will sponsor the heck out of them as well. Let us know if you have story ideas, interviews. Let us know. As always, we love you guys jumping on the show live. We love you guys who listen to the show and watch the show after it's live. And of course, you can check out our merchandise at canceltheshow.com. Yeah, I already beat you to it, Derek.
You mentioned the merch yesterday too.
I've been doing it. I've been trying to get it in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're grateful for everybody's help with everything on this show. Tomorrow, I believe Kelly Mano, Eric, and at 8 o'clock, we've got the man who wants to be the next Missouri governor. That is Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, a St. Louis guy, Chaminade grad. He will be joining us live at 8 o'clock. So we can come in tomorrow and do that interview as well.
And that'll be great because we've heard from the other two candidates and we keep getting asked to have the third one come on, and he's coming on. So excited about that.
All right. I want to find out if he had any good one-on-one interaction with Trump.
Me too. I want to hear because he was really with the Trump train there in New Hampshire. So I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah, if you have a governor that's hardcore for the Trump train,
he's hardcore for
him. Then that's a good thing.
We're pretty blessed because it seems
we
like
have three of them
are all love Trump.
Yes.
So I think in that aspect, we're in good shape.
All right, guys. So for Pro Joe taking care of everything from the technical standpoint, Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. That does it for this fastest 2 hours in podcasting on this Thursday, January 25th. Guys, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow for our Free for All Friday show.